Hi Glenorchy, your Mayor Bec Thomas here. I'm out and about on our fire trails today, doing a bit of a tour of our fire trails with Rob Whittle, who is our coordinator. No, what's your title, Rob?
Coordinator Bushfire Management.
Coordinator Bushfire Management. I did have it right. So I'm going to ask Rob a few questions about the trails that we're on and what we do in bushfire management. So Rob, we're out and about on our 70 kilometres of bushfire trails today. That's about right, isn't it? 70 kilometres of trails we have in Glenorchy Municipality.
That's right, Bec. We've got 70 kilometres of fire trails. They're mainly in Goat Hills and Wellington Park. We run an annual maintenance program on them. We've got an operational budget of around about $300,000. But that doesn't only include the maintenance of our fire trails, that's a lot of our planned burning site preparation, and we do a lot of mechanical treatments as well. So our mechanical treatments, we might do a lot of slashing in the bushland areas, we might have fuel breaks, or we might have where you've got houses that back onto the forest, we have little fuel breaks in there as well. We did a bit of planned burning on the weekend. We burnt about 14 hectares within Wellington Park of a planned fuel reduction burn to reduce the bushfire risk in the Glenorchy LGA, but also the Greater Hobart area.
Great. So how was this identified as the site for last week's weekend's burn-off?
We do what's called fire shed modelling, and we look at Greater Hobart, we look at the fire running through the landscape, and we look at where we can get best bang for buck for fuel reduction burning. It then gets prioritised into a risk register for the Hobart Fire Management Area Committee, and then as the Greater Hobart area, when it comes into planned burning season, we might have some sections that dry out sooner than others, so we can look through the treatment plan and prioritise works. But this one came out fairly high priority and high risk for significant relative risk reduction. So, raking around trees, you can see here, we get a contractor to come in and clear around the base of trees. So when we are putting fire through here, we can reduce tree fatality, mortality, increase safety for firefighters, but also if you've got habitat features or something in the tree, we're trying to preserve the hollows. So by raking around the base of the trees, it really lets us do a lot of lighting around the edge of the burn. We only rake around trees within a certain distance from the boundary. It's not every tree in here. So council, we've also got vegetation control specifications which look at stringy bark trees and white gum trees. So when we do a specification package for a contractor, we just go from those specs and put it in. We have consistent approach everywhere. When we're doing planned burning, one of the biggest things we like water, and we've got limited water and the return time for a crew to go down, get water, fill back up. And when you're burning, the edges of the burns are almost the most vulnerable feature because you might have, if it exceeds the expectations externally. So we can use limited water burning just by raking around the trees. You're not having to wet things out as much through here. So for what it costs us, it's a pretty nominal figure, but we get maximum risk reduction at the day of planned burning. So the guys and girls, they'll just come, they'll rake around, clear around. Every stringy bark tree on the boundary will be raked around, and we only look at white gum trees where it's got fire damage at the base. So it hasn't got fire damage at the base. The white gums, it's only got some ribboning bark. But with the stringy barks, if the fire catches on light, the embers from it can contribute to spotting and putting fire outside of the planned burn boundary. So we do it regardless to any stringy bark tree.
And so fuel reduction burning is one of the roles we undertake to keep our municipality in Greater Hobart safe. But you mentioned mechanical treatments as well. So we do quite a bit of that using machinery, is that right?
Yeah, so we use a lot of different machinery. We might use excavators, or we might use tractors, and each machinery might have a different way of actually removing the vegetation if it's slashing the vegetation, or it might be physically removing it, cutting it down and removing it from site. And we go to the Tasmania Fire Service, have specifications for how we to do that work. And but mechanical treatment is unlike fuel reduction burning. Fuel reduction burning, we can only do that a few months of the year in the warmer seasons, but mechanical works we can do basically all year round. So our fire trails, we might be slashing vegetation adjacent to them as well, and we run an annual maintenance program to make sure it's kept at certain service levels.
And we've talked a bit earlier today about the importance of maintaining these fire trails for access purposes, and that takes quite a significant bit of effort and maintenance budget as well, just to maintain the trails. Can you tell us why that's so important?
Yeah, so it's important for multiple reasons, like from environmental, it gives us access to do environmental management, but the primary function of our fire trails are to get our fire trucks, the Tasmanian Fire Service, in the locations when we need them. Often if we've got big tall tree canopies, we may not be able to have helicopters to be able to get the water through the tree canopies, so we have to have fire trucks to be able to get to the site, and we have to be able to make sure that when the firefighters from the Tasmanian Fire Service are going to areas, they know that they're safe, they're trafficable, and they're to certain standards, so no one's put at unnecessary risk.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit of electricity and telecommunications infrastructure up the top of some of our fire trails as well, and it's really important that we have access to those, and Tas Networks have access to those.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of critical community infrastructure. So the Gordon Line easement, Tas Networks manages that so well, and that provides a lot of the power to Greater Hobart. And the top of Goat Hills, there's a lot of telecommunication infrastructure with phone towers and other bits and pieces, so making sure that we work closely with our partner agencies to keep those assets as safe as we possibly can when the next bushfire comes through.
And we have a great relationship with the Tas Fire Service. You were telling me it really is a team effort. It's not just Glenorchy City Council, but working really closely with the Tas Fire Service and our volunteer fire brigades as well in our municipality. Yeah,
so like the Bushfire Risk Unit of the Tasmanian Fire Service, we work really closely with those guys, and I think that's really important, the trusting relationships we have, and we can't do it all alone. And a big thing about bushfire risk reduction is that bushfire doesn't stop at a property boundary, it'll run through the landscape, and it doesn't stop, and so we need to work really closely and get best bang for buck in reduction through all the agencies. And yeah, the Tas Fire Service are one of our biggest allies. Yeah,
and the Wellington Park Management Trust as well, and our Greater Hobart Councils. Coordinating strategy is really important.
Yeah, so we coordinate all our works through the Hobart Fire Management Area Committee, and that's got representatives from City of Hobart, Clarence Council, Tas Water, Tas Networks, Tasmanian Fire Service, Tas Farmers Growers Association. So we're all working collectively together, and I think that's the most important message, that how critical the Hobart Fire Management Area Committee is, and fire management committees throughout Tasmania, and the State Fire Management Council who coordinate those. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And what about the people of Glenorchy? What can they do coming up to summer, the bushfire season? What's your key message for everyday individuals at home?
You can jump on the Tasmania Fire Service website, and you can prepare a 5-minute bushfire survival plan. There's a wealth of knowledge on the Tasmanian Fire Service website, and everything's coordinated through there, so that's your one-stop shop, and it's got who to call for more information. And yeah, jump on their website and follow their Facebook page.
Yeah. So do only people who live in with bush at their backyard need to do that, or is that something we should all be doing? We all have this huge amount of bushland in our backyard as a municipality as a whole, so is this something we should all be conscious of?
Yeah, it's a shared responsibility that we might have nearby safer places, or places throughout the community where the council sets up when the next bushfire comes through, where people can go for recovery. So everyone plays a big role in it, and we can't do it alone.
Yeah, so we all have a role to play. So being informed is the first step. So encouraging everyone to find out a bit of information about being prepared for bushfire season.
That's it.
Great. Well, thanks for the updates.
Thanks for coming, Bec.
No worries.